Hey everybody, it's Alfred Parsar Jr. back with another Metropolitan Report. And before we begin this edition of the Metropolitan Report, just want to thank everybody for their support. I am back from Port St. Lucie, Florida. Yes, I was in Port St. Lucie for Met Spring Training. I'm back now, and it was a great time. We got two vlogs and a whole bunch of reels from my experiences at Clover Park for Met Spring Training for some Grapefruit League action. We have a vlog when they played the Washington Nationals, another vlog when they played the Houston Astros. It's up on the channel. If you want to see more cool content like that, go down below, hit the subscribe button if you're on YouTube, hit that follow button if you're on Facebook, and hit the follow button if you're watching this on Twitch. So appreciate each and every one of you. With that being said, this week on the report, going to cover some things, like I said, my experiences in Port St. Lucie, things I saw, other camp news, and we're going to touch on some Mets production in the World Baseball Classic now that that's underway. But first thing is first, I'm going to start off on this point. Like I said, I was there for 2 games of spring training action, got to see the guys work out, got to see a lot of what was going on in camp. Um, last week, and I got to say, great experience being at Met Spring Training. Looking to go again to Port St. Lucie. Shout out to everybody watching this in the chat this morning. But yeah, today is Monday, March 9th, 2026. And like I said, I was blessed to go to Port St. Lucie. And one of the things I noticed, and this is just an observation here, the Mets really don't have a solidified plan at first base. We saw in the winter the Mets signed Jorge Polanco, the former Seattle Mariner. They said that Polanco was primarily going to be a first baseman, but when I was there, I didn't see Polanco play. Brett Beatty, and you could go back on our vlog from February 28th. Um, that video is up on our YouTube channel. For those of you watching on Facebook and Twitch, head over to the YouTube of the Metropolitan Report. You'll see the vlog. But Brett Beatty was at first base, and Brett Beatty looked pretty good at first base, I must admit. There were some ground balls in the dirt hit his way. He fielded them cleanly, didn't make any mistakes, didn't make any errors. Footwork was on point. And Brett Beatty, now he's a third baseman by trade. The Mets signed Bo Bichette and stuck him at third. So now Beatty on the fly learning first base. He played a little bit of second at times throughout the season last season. But Brett Beatty actually looked pretty darn good in the spring training action that I saw with my own 2 eyes in person at Clover. Again, Brett Beatty playing first base. He looked pretty solid. We're talking strictly defensively, folks. Not talking about Brett Beatty and his offensive output in spring training, but Brett Beatty looking good. Um, Looking good so far this spring defensively. A couple of balls were hit to him. No line drives, but grounders he fielded. When balls were thrown to him, he caught them in the glove cleanly. So Brett Beatty looking like a natural. He's never played first base, at least not that I know of in professional baseball. Maybe in the minor leagues or something, or well, not even in the minors, maybe in little league. But Brett Beatty, he's had reps in the outfield previously, third base, second base, but yeah, playing first base now. Jorge Polanco remains to be seen what's going on with him. They said he'll split between first and DH, but the Mets trying to see what sticks. They've stuck a couple of prospects at first base this spring, and Brett Beatty, out of everybody who's played first base for the Mets so far this spring, defensively, Beatty looks the best. Again, not a first baseman by trade, so this is impressive that he's not having struggles. We've seen Bo Bichette struggle defensively at third at times, coming over from shortstop, playing third base now, but Brett Beatty, no struggles it seems at first base defensively, and I'm very curious to see if this is a move that's going to translate to the regular season. Once the regular season starts, home opener March 26th against the Pittsburgh Pirates. I'll be there at Citi Field, but I'm unsure what the plan is if Carlos Mendoza is going to go ahead and just say, okay, Brett here, um, play first base, and we'll figure the rest out, because you figured once Marcus Simeon came aboard, second base was solidified. Lindor, even if he's not ready to go, Ronnie Mauricio more than likely is going to take his spot if he doesn't come back from the broken hand in time. Third base, obviously, Bichette. You don't sign a guy to that big of a contract and not find a place to play him. So, yeah, Beatty and Vientos looking like the odd man out. Vientos has also had some reps at first base, and I mean, he's right now playing for Team Nicaragua in the World Baseball Classic. We'll talk about that a little bit later on in the program. But Vientos has had a couple of stints at first base this spring. Hasn't looked particularly comfortable. We saw him in 2 games last season at first base to give Pete Alonso a day off or have Pete DH. Didn't look comfortable there. So Vientos not a good defensive option. So don't be surprised, folks. I really think Brett Beatty's gonna be the first baseman of this team. Like I said, he was the odd man out when Simeon and Bichette came aboard in the infield. Polanco will more than likely DH, but I can't, the way Beatty looked. I was very, very impressed. Again, you could go back in the vlog and see it. It's titled New York Mets versus Washington Nationals spring training fan cam footage, and I have footage of Brett Beatty making some plays defensively at first. I was very, very surprised but impressed at how well Brett Beatty has played at first base this spring. So if opening day comes and he's in the lineup as the first baseman, I am okay with that. Defensively, he seemed pretty good at first base. Uh, I mean, Pete Alonso. A lot of people said the defense of Pete Alonso was the problem, although he was really, really good at picking ground balls out of the dirt. But it remains to be seen if Beatty can have a better foothold defensively at first than Pete does. It remains to be seen, but we will see. But if I'm Mendy, I'm going to go ahead with Beatty. Polanco has hardly made any appearances this spring. But I mean, I understand that they signed him too to play a role on the team. But I'm good with him DHing. But again, Brett Beatty looking very, very good at first base. Again, we have the footage on our YouTube channel here on the Metropolitan Report. Brett Beatty, like I said, did wonderful at first base when I saw him in person at Port St. Lucie. So I'm telling you now, Brett Beatty at first has my stamp of approval, and Beatty down the stretch. I know I was tough on him last season offensively early on in the season, but as the season wore on, he went on to be one of the Mets' most consistent hitters last season. So Brett Beatty, I have no problem with him playing first base to start the season if that's the direction the Mets choose to go in. Other news out of camp, we had two pretty good debuts, or I should say one pretty good debut and another one not okay. Sean Manaea and Kodai Senga made their spring debuts this past week. Sean Manaea in the game against the Marlins a few days ago pitched 3 innings, only gave up 1 run. That run was a Connor Norby home run. The Mets signed Manaea to a 1-year deal in 2024. Of course, Manaea was a big part of the OMG era Mets. Cinderella story there for both the Mets as a team and Manaea. Sean Manaea down the stretch, a big reason why the Mets got to the NLCS in 2024, but he had a rough go of things last season. ERA over 5.53 last season. He started the season hurt, had an oblique injury in camp, and never really bounced back. Manaea couldn't get deep into starts, just looked overall uncomfortable all season long. Manaea didn't look too bad against the Marlins. Again, one run he gave up on 1 hit, which was the homer by Norby, and yeah, pitched 3 innings, 2 scoreless innings otherwise. Sean Manaea is a guy I have to see more of. I don't with all the starters in camp. Um, you gotta figure out where Manaea fits in because obviously Freddy Peralta, he's been named the opening day starter already. Freddie probably gonna be the ace of the staff. Nolan McLean, who down the stretch was fantastic. Um, he's still considered a rookie. Could win Rookie of the Year this year. So, but if what we've seen in the big league so far is any indication from Nolan McLean, then he's gonna he's if he can repeat last season and do it consistently for one whole full season, then Nolan McLean definitely he's gonna be the number 2 man in the rotation. Clay Holmes, number 3 man in the rotation. We'll talk about Holmes and McLean later on. They're both on Team USA in the World Baseball Classic. But McLean and Holmes definitely locking up their rotation. And then you have David Peterson, an all-star from last season. Despite the Mets trying to shop him around, couldn't move him. They brought him back on a deal in arbitration. And then you have so many wild cards. There's Kodai Senga, who we'll get to in a minute. Christian Scott, who missed all of last season after having Tommy John in the middle of 2024. He's going to work his way back. It'll be interesting to see if he makes the big league club. Um, there's so many different ways that the Mets can go in the spring. Jonah Tong is in the mix for that final 5th starter spot. So Sean and I is going to have to compete. Like I said, the 4 locks right now, Peralta, McLean, Holmes, and Peterson, those 4 definitely on the opening day rotation. Who gets the 5th spot? Again, Manaea, Christian Scott, Jonah Tong. It's really Kodai Senga. It's really a toss up at this point. But it's an encouraging sign to see Manaea go 3 innings, only giving up a run. There were points in time last season where Manaea couldn't even make it to 3 innings. So very encouraging sign for Manaea, looking to get back to form. This is after 2024, the Mets re-signed him to a 3-year deal. This is year 2 of that 3-year deal. The first one being last season in 2025. So we'll see what happens in 2026. But Sean Manaea, 1 run through 3 innings against the Marlins. Very encouraging sign there. I mean, again, spring training is what it's going to be. Spring training. Yes, numbers matter, but you got to remember, folks, spring training, the games don't count. The level of competition is uneven because you got non-roster invitees, veterans trying to extend their careers where they're at the brink of being out of the league. You got prospects trying to make an impression with their team officials in the front office, and then you got the minor leaguers who've been on the shuttle up and down between the bigs and AAA, all fighting to to show what they got in hopes of making the roster, breaking camp with the team, going to wherever they're going on opening day. For the Mets is home to Flushing. So remains to be seen. We'll probably see Manaea pitch maybe 1 or 2 more times in the spring, but encouraging sign for Manaea. Kodai Senga, moving on to Kodai Senga. Kodai Senga made his spring debut also last week against the St. Louis Cardinals over in Jupiter. And he gave up 2 home runs in 2 2/3 innings. His fastball was reportedly at 98 miles per hour. He had 2 strikeouts and no walks. Senga, again, hurt in the middle of last season, was actually demoted to AAA Syracuse in the home stretch of last year. And after he exhausted his rehab starts, he said he was not confident in his ability to come back and effectively try to help the team make the playoffs. Of course, the Mets missing the playoffs, it came down to the final day of the season against Miami in a game where Miami won, and we missed the last wild card spot by a game. But some people say, and I'm going to go ahead and say it, Kodai Senga gave up on the team. He probably saw it was a lost season. I don't know how you're a professional baseball player at the highest level, and you're not confident in your abilities to contribute, so you rather stay on the I don't even know if it was the injured list, the restricted list, whatever list that they put him on, because he exhausted his rehab starts and he didn't have a setback. He just said he felt he wasn't ready. Um, I respect it, but I don't. I respect it because all right, this guy, he knows he doesn't have what it takes at the moment, but at the same time, like, bro, you're a professional athlete. Like, sometimes when your number is called, you have to rise to the occasion. Forget letting yourself down. You let your team down. But again, last season is over. It is what it is. But Senga giving up 2 home runs in 2 2/3 innings. That's not a good sign. Getting bit by the gopher ball, never a good sign. But fastball topping out at 98 miles per hour, not too bad. He didn't throw the ghost fork much in that outing. I personally felt like Senga was a mixed bag. I didn't like the body language on the mound that I saw. Is an encouraging sign that he did not walk anybody, and he had 2 strikeouts, so very very encouraging sign. But Senga again, fifth spot is up for the taking between Senga, Christian Scott, Sean Manaea. Like we don't know which way that this fifth rotation spot is going to go. Um, I personally couldn't tell you. I mean, we haven't seen Christian Scott um, yet in spring training action, so it's hard to tell. But Kodai Senga again, 2 runs, and the 2 home runs were the only runs he gave up, but 2 runs, which were both homers in 2 2/3 innings against St. Louis. But this Mets team, I'm I don't know. Let's talk about that fifth spot in the rotation. Again, Justin Hagenman also in the mix for that spot. Hagenman I saw also in Port St. Lucie. But Hagenman hasn't looked really comfortable. Last season, Hagenman, 9 appearances, 0-1, 4.56 ERA, 23rd and 2/3 innings, 23 strikeouts. Uh, but Hagenman in 2025, we pull up Hagenman's numbers. Again, he only started 1 game. That 1 game he started was a Subway Series game, but he's trying to be a starter. He's not trying to pitch out of the bullpen. But he's got a 5.40 ERA in spring this season. 8 1/3 innings. That's typically not good if you're getting clobbered with a over 5 ERA. But Hagenman in the mix. I don't think he's getting that fifth rotation spot. He'll probably be shuttled up and down between Syracuse and Flushing. If the Mets need a spot start, probably have him start, send him back down right after the game's over. Again, we mentioned Manaea. We mentioned Manaea. Manaea again, probably the most likely candidate to get that spot. And we mentioned Jonah Tong. Jonah Tong, somebody we haven't talked about in a while on the program. But Jonah Tong struggling in his spring training so far. He's got an ERA over 10, 10.13. He's 0-1, 10.13, 2 2/3 innings, 2 strikeouts. Jonah Tong, somebody that they were very high on. He was the minor league leader in strikeouts for the year of 2025. We had a game day vlog on. It's still on the channel. When he made his MLB debut against Miami. Had 6 Ks in that debut. Of course, the Mets blew Miami out of the water in that game. So I mean, anybody who had a 12-run lead at the end of 2 innings was more than likely going to win it. But I personally have not liked what I've seen out of Tong since that first start. But yeah, so I mean, it's between Jonah Tong, Kodai Senga, Sean Manaea, uh, yeah, and Justin Hagenman and Christian Scott. And then we look at Christian Scott. Not a very big sample size. He hasn't pitched since 2024. In the 2024 season, he pitched in 9 games, 0-3, 4.56 ERA, 39 Ks, and 47 and a third. Um, so Christian Scott, yeah, Christian Scott. I don't know. He's he's coming off Tommy John. We can see what he's about. Like I said, he pitched in 9 games, started all 9 games that he appeared in. 0-3, 4.56 ERA. Um, yeah, and he got bit by the gopher ball too. Gave up 8 home runs in 47 and a third innings. 12 walks in that time frame compared to 39 strikeouts is not too bad. The only upside is Christian Scott is young. He's 26 years of age. I don't know. Tommy John is not easy to come back from, but we'll see what he's made of. He has yet to make an appearance this spring. We don't really know what the plan is for Christian Scott, but prior to spring training starting, it was said that he would be a participant in camp. And of course, there will be no Tyler McGill this season. He had Tommy John in the offseason, so that's a lost year for McGill. But me personally, if I had to make the decision between who's going to get the spot, whether it's going to be Scott, Senga, Tong, um, Manaea, or Hageman, if Sean Manaea continues to look good, I'll give it to Sean Manaea. If Kodai Senga, it really, in my opinion, it's between Kodai Senga and Sean Manaea. If Senga can outplay Manaea, give it to Senga. If Manaea can outplay Senga, give it to Manaea. And put whoever loses between the two in the bullpen. Because you know they're both still good pitchers, but right now I have more faith in Sean Manaea than I do in Kodai Senga. So if it were up to me, and especially, I mean, one game, 3 innings apiece between the two of them, or 2 2/3 in the case of Senga, not really a great sample size. And again, like I said, spring training is uneven in competition, but also I'm going to factor in the end of last season. I'm very hesitant to put a guy in my rotation who lost confidence in himself and stated publicly too that he's not ready to come back. Like, bro, you exhausted all of your major league options. You quit on the team. You quit on yourself. Say what you will, but that's just how I feel about Kodai Senga. So, for up to me, Manaea would be the fifth man. So, shifting gears to the World Baseball Classic. The World Baseball Classic got underway late last week. We saw a couple of teams looking good so far. Team USA, as of right now, undefeated. They play Mexico tonight at 8 p.m. Of course, the two Mets on the team, Team USA. Clay Holmes being one of them. Clay Holmes in the World Baseball Classic appeared against Great Britain. And boy, oh boy, did Clay Holmes have a showing. He might be in midseason form. Before he left to join Team USA, I have footage of him warming up, going through his preparation and pregame routine um, prior to a start against the Houston Astros. That's included in the game day vlog. We do have the footage of Clay Holmes warming up and preparing in Port St. Lucie. Go check that vlog out. Subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, greatly appreciated. Just like I appreciate all of you watching right now. I see all of you in the chat. Much appreciated. But Clay Holmes, boy, oh boy, what a showing in the World Baseball Classic. Clay Holmes on Saturday appeared for 3 innings. And of course, he came out of the bullpen. He's a starter currently for the Mets. So, of course, he can handle 3 innings. And through a 3 inning shutout, he had 3 scoreless innings, 6 strikeouts, no walks. Very, very impressed with Clay Holmes. He's looking like he's in midseason form. Now, you guys know how I feel about the World Baseball Classic. I'm not the biggest fan of the timing of this thing. And in his start against the Astros, his last start before he left camp to go join Team USA, Holmes was a bit shaky, didn't look too great. But Clay Holmes against Great Britain. Now, of course, it's Great Britain. Great Britain's best player is their captain, Jazz Chisholm Jr. of the Yankees. But aside from that, there's not much big league caliber talent on that team. Harry Ford is the second uh, best player that they have, followed by Trace Thompson, former Dodger, who is the younger brother of Dallas Mavericks NBA star Klay Thompson. But I mean, again, Great Britain is not. They lost that game 9-1 to Great Britain to the United States. So the caliber of competition not really there, but it's always an encouraging sign. Again, and unlike spring training, the WBC games mean something. They're in pool play right now. USA sitting at 2-0, but these are competitive games. These are games that count. Granted, not every country has a great major league type team like Team USA does. Great Britain certainly doesn't. But very encouraging to see Clay Holmes, 3 scoreless innings, no walks, 6 strikeouts. I loved what I saw from Clay Holmes. I did watch the entire game. Those 3 innings, he's in midseason. He looks like he's in midseason form. His body language was on point. His fastball had some zip on it, and he was very confident. 6 Ks in 3 innings. That's if you do the math, that's you face 3 batters in an inning because it was scoreless. He had no walks, so he retired all 9 batters he faced, struck out 6 out of the 9. That's a great stat line. And like I said, his mechanics looked on point. Body language was very confident. And Mark DeRosa, the manager of Team USA, obviously trusts Clay Holmes and liked what he saw enough to put him out there for not 1, not 2, but 3 innings, also helping to preserve the rest of the bullpen, as the United States will probably need them against a very decent Mexico team. United States beating Brazil and Great Britain in the first 2 games of pool play in the World Baseball Classic, but Mexico is going to present a much bigger challenge than those 2 previous aforementioned teams. Of course, Team Brazil, no current MLB players on that. McLean almost did not join Team USA, was almost pulled from the tournament because early last week, McLean was suffering from loss of appetite and dizziness. They later diagnosed him with vertigo. He later on started to feel better as the week progressed and pitched in a minor league intra-squad game and reported no symptoms. And Carlos Mendoza and Mets officials felt that he was healthy enough to join Team USA. So McLean is going to have his work cut out for him in this start. But I do believe in Nolan McLean because, again, Nolan McLean showed us what he had when he was called up last season. So again, I have complete confidence in Nolan. Again, Nolan McLean gonna take the hill. I really hope that he's gonna get over his vertigo here. I mean, they said he's good. The Mets officials said he's good. So it is what it is. But Nolan McLean again going to Team USA again. Team USA 2-0. He'll be playing against Italy, that Italian team. So let's take a look at that. The Italian team managed by former Yankee Francisco Cervelli. Let's see what Nolan McLean has to go up here. Kyle Teal of the White Sox is on this team. John Birdie batting .750 for Team Italy. Not too many big names. Vinny Pasquantino of the Royals is here. Miles Mastrobuoni. Jack Caglione is the big one. He's batting .250. Dom Canzone of the Seattle Mariners. Another Met that is actually on Team Italy. Mets top prospect Nick Morabito, who has yet to see the field. So This is a ragtag, but how is Jorge Posada the hitting coach of Team Italy? I thought he was Puerto Rican, but this is what um this is what Nolan McLean will have to go up against. McLean going up against Italy tomorrow with that start. So Nolan McLean should not have an issue with anybody on this Italian team. So um, yeah, I don't foresee the vertigo being an issue. They said the vertigo is behind him, so it remains to be seen what McLean is going to do. But I have complete faith in McLean. Nolan McLean not going to struggle here. I think he will handedly take care of that Team Italy lineup. The biggest threat in the lineup is Jack Caglione. So that it is what it is. Again, the only thing is if he has any lingering symptoms of the vertigo, which according to everybody involved, Team USA officials and Mets officials, there is no issue with Nolan McLean there. So Clay Holmes and Nolan McLean on Team USA. Shifting gears to Team Dominican Republic. Juan Soto called game against the Netherlands. The Netherlands got mercied the other day. Juan Soto hit a home run that put the Dominican Republic up by more than 11 runs in the seventh inning. So that's GG's good game. Juan Soto in the World Baseball Classic. We'll take a look at his numbers here. And Pacheco having himself a very good World Baseball Classic. 1 home run, 2 RBIs, batting .429. This is an impressive team here. Fernando Tatis batting .500. O'Neal Cruz batting .1,000. He's perfect. Julio Rodriguez .429. Soto .429. Vladdy Guerrero Jr. .375. Manny Machado .500. So this and Junior Caminero .571. So this Dominican Republic team firing all cylinders, but Pacheco called game when he swung the bat against the Netherlands. He's doing well. He looks like he's in midseason form from what I've seen, aside of a defensive blunder. But no issues with Pacheco. Pacheco looking really good. Very excited to see Pacheco in the City Field this season. I think he's going to have another fantastic year. I don't even have to harp on Juan Soto very much. So Soto again he's got his World Baseball Classic moment. So that clip of that went viral. He saw that pitch in the Netherlands and he mercied them. So hey, more power to Pacheco. And then finally, Mark Vientos, who may or may not be on the major league roster when camp breaks, batting .091. Man has 1 base hit. He's looked really, really bad in moments of World Baseball Classic play. Vientos came up with runners in scoring position, had a bases loaded at bat with 2 out, chance to put Nicaragua up, and he struck out. Has not looked good. Again, just 1 measly base hit, and he's their starting third baseman. Mark Vientos, the Mark Vientos from 2024. I don't know where he is or if that was a fluke run in the second half of 24, but Mark Vientos stinks, absolutely stinks. It looks like V needs to find the swag because Swaggy V ain't swagging anymore. But Vientos struggling. I really don't know what to make of it. Am I surprised? Not really, because of everything I've seen from him from all of last season up until this point, and even in spring training, it has not looked good offensively. So Swag. I have nothing to say, Swaggy. I like Mark Vientos. You know, he's one of my guys, but the guy's severely underperforming. Like I just don't get it. Why it just can't seem to click. Who knows? Maybe he might show something in Flushing, but in the World Baseball Classic, Yeah, it just I don't know. It's just not clicking with Swaggy. Uh One last bit of news, a couple bits of news um so far before we get out of here. Mets reliever Robert Stock. He's gonna need thoracic outlet surgery. He reported shoulder discomfort after a 3 inning outing for Team Israel. So Robert Stock was supposed to he's on Team Israel in the World Baseball Classic. Said that he had a elbow discomfort, a shoulder discomfort. Sorry. He hopes he can be back on the mound before the season is over. But yeah, he signed a minor league contract with the Mets this offseason after spending last season in the Red Sox organization. Stock was a Met previously in 2021 season. But yeah, Robert Stock was brought in to compete for a bullpen spot and add some depth to the bullpen, but that's going to have to be on hold now. He again is going to have thoracic outlet surgery, hurt his shoulder in this year's World Baseball Classic. Another reason why I'm opposed to the Classic. But Brandon Waddell, also another reliever who ate up innings plenty last season. Brandon Waddell suffering from shoulder fatigue. He was originally scheduled to start today in today's Grapefruit League action. However, he will not. But he will be. He will throw in non-game action, so he'll be throwing a simulated game. He's going to continue to throw, but they're not going to risk him in in-game situations. A note on Carson Benj, who we highlighted on our last episode, and we highlighted him in the blog when we were out in Port St. Lucie. Luis Robert is not ready for game action, and Juan Soto is away in the WBC. So, Carson Benj started in center, and another top prospect who we highlighted in the blog, AJ Ewing, was in left, Tyrone Taylor was in right, and Mendy with Luis Robert not ready for any type of baseball activity right now, and with Juan Soto away, he's going to mix things up. Of course, Tyrone Taylor and Benj competing for that right field spot, but you know, Tyrone Taylor played a lot of center last season, so that might be outfield of the future. Not talking about Taylor, I'm talking about Benj and Ewing. Mike Talkman also reportedly going to get some reps in center field before spring is up. So, um, yeah, a lot of moving parts in that center field conundrum that we'll focus on a bit more once camp nears. And then finally, before we wrap things up and get out of here, Freddy Peralta says he's seeking either a 7 or an 8 year extension. Uh, Now it's funny that we talk about this because Freddy Peralta is in the final year of a deal he signed when he was on the Brewers that ironically David Stearns gave him when he extended him. However, the money that Peralta got in that extension, he's far outgrown that value. And as they always say, yesterday's price is not today's price. Um, the projection from everything that I've read from all the experts thinks that David Stearns and the Mets will more than likely try to get him to sign a 4 year, $65 million deal. But he's seeking 7 or 8. Peralta was stated as I'm going to paraphrase. I don't have the exact quote in front of me, but he says that he wants to sign long term with and make the next team he signs with, whether it's the Mets or somebody else, the last team of his career that he would intend to retire with. Peralta's looked good this spring. He's pitched in 2 games, 2-0, ERA of 3. He's pitched 6 innings, 7 Ks in the 6 innings. Lifetime, he's pitched 211 games. Career win-loss 70-42, 3.59 ERA, 931 innings, 1,153 strikeouts in those 931 innings. If I'm the Mets, again, David Stearns, hate him or love him, I definitely am no fan of Stearns. I've expressed that on this program many, many times. Stearns is not giving anybody a 7 or 8 year deal. Now, some people will say, "Oh, well, Juan Soto got the 15," but that was Steve Cohen. The only way Peralta is going to get that long-term extension is if Steve Cohen intervenes, and Steve Cohen doesn't look like he's going to intervene in anything else for the time being. He didn't even intervene when Pete Alonso walked. So I mean, hey, or when Edwin Diaz went to the Dodgers. So that tells you that. If it's coming from Stearns, and some people will say, "Oh yeah, he might get it because he's a Stearns guy. Stearns developed him. Stearns extended him once already." Yeah, but Stearns extended him for far less money and than what he's looking for now. Freddy Peralta wasn't the caliber of pitcher back then than he is now. Um, you did give up Brandon Sproat and Jet Williams for Peralta. You don't want to give that type of capital up and get a 1 year rental. I do personally think the Mets should go in. They need to solidify an ace. Uh, I'm going to be completely honest with this take. The Mets have not had a defined ace since Jacob deGrom left the Mets, and he left us after the 2022 season. Didn't have one in 23. The Scherzer Verlander experiment failed. Didn't have one in 24. It was a ragtag group of Luis Severino and Sean Manaea and a bunch of others that led the rotation. Last season, the ace was supposed to be Senga. It wasn't. Nolan McLean, who is crazy that we called a rookie with a handful of starts the ace of the staff until Peralta came. But if I'm the Mets, I'm extending Freddy Peralta. If you don't want to do 7 or 8, meet the man at 6. I'm pretty sure if you compromise, he could sign a 6-year deal. As far as the money, I think he's worth the money. Peralta, as you can see here, was an all-star in 2021, the year he got extended, an all-star again just this past season. The Brewers traded him because they know that his contract is up and they're not going to be able to afford the type of money he's going to demand. And if the Mets don't re-sign him and say he does have a good year this season, if the Mets don't jump on him early and lock him up before the season is over, somebody, and it might be that team in LA that wears blue and white, but somebody is going to offer him a deal. And it's going to be a big money deal. So the Dodgers have proven they're not afraid to spend. They overpaid for Kyle Tucker. They deferred all the money in the world to Shohei. Shohei is going to be set for life with that deferred deal and the deferment payments he's going to get. But you got to sign Freddy Peralta. Do not make the mistake. David Stearns, do not be cheap. Do not be cheap, David Stearns. Pay the money. Pay that man the money. You don't want to have a situation where you're trying to play cute and you have Edwin Diaz 2.0. You let it slip through your fingers because somebody else is willing to give $3 more million. Mets have the richest owner in baseball. There's no reason to lose bidding wars to other teams. So Freddy Peralta should be worth it. Like I said, he's looked good in camp so far. He's already been named the opening day starter. He's a guy that can anchor this rotation for the next 3, 4, 5 years. Give him the money. Like I said, every team that you could think of. When you think of the Yankees rotation, you're thinking of Garrett Cole. When you think of the Tigers rotation, you think of Tarek Skubal. When you think of the Dodgers, you think of Yamamoto. All these teams, they have defined aces. Mets did not have one before Freddy Peralta. They need to hold on to him and make him that guy in the rotation. So we've come to the end here, the Metropolitan Report. Again, more than grateful. Go check out those spring training vlogs. Go check out those spring training shorts on YouTube or the reels on Instagram. Appreciate everybody's support. And I'll be back at the end of the week with some more updates. We're going to bring you some more camp stuff. If any of the Mets that are in the WBC do anything spectacular, we're going to talk about it, recap it, so on and so forth. Again, if you're watching this on YouTube, or even if you're not, go to the YouTube page, Metropolitan Report Podcast. Subscribe. Once we get to 500 subscribers, I got something special in store for you guys. For those of you watching on Facebook and Twitch, I appreciate you. And I'll be back at the end of the week. Keep you updated with content in the middle of the week. And let's go Mets.